Our first story, the big story in fact on India Sense is what's happening in Bangladesh and the power struggle that is now coming to fore. It seems that Bangladesh's political crisis is far from over. It started as a battle for the national unity among students and activists, has now in fact turned into a bit of a political contest and a struggle. Bangladesh saw 19 student organizations from across the country unite for the National Student Solidarity Week, which started from the 26th of November. But after a week, now there are cracks that have appeared. The political student organizations, including the BNP student wing and some of the left-wing groups, have refused to attend a key dialogue. Why did they do so? Because they feel this is now mainstreaming of some of the extremist ideologies that some factions actually propagate. And in fact, they criticize the interim government for excluding certain factions and preferring those that have a more extremist ideology. Only a handful of student groups were actually selected, and those that were affiliated with the Islamic parties, whether it's the Bangladesh Jamaat-e-Islami or the Islami Andolon Bangladesh. And beyond that, most stayed away. They claim that the anti-discrimination student movement has now become a puppet of the government. It's no longer inclusive, but fueling division. Divisions that have only come to light in the last 4 months in Bangladesh. One such group, in fact, took to the streets with a different message. They said they wanted justice for the violent killings that marred the July uprising, something that Awami League has been really focused on and has been seen as the primary culprit of. But the absence of unity amongst these student leaders reflects the larger struggle that Bangladesh is facing. It's at a crossroads. There are economic problems, there are political problems, and of course there are now larger geopolitical problems, particularly the fact that Bangladesh's commentary, particularly from the government, is becoming more and more strident against India, almost baiting it. Of course, India hasn't taken the bait so far, but the fact is that is likely to cause more headwinds, more challenges for the Yunus government. And in fact, as Bangladesh burns, we are now going to focus on what all should India be doing and what are India's options, given the fact that minorities, particularly the Hindu minorities, have been facing the wrath of extremist ideologies, extremist organizations. Now, there are a couple of things that India needs to focus on and navigate this volatile situation. Options are limited, but there are some options. First and foremost, the diplomatic strategy, as has been the case so far. Communication lines must remain robust. They must remain up and running, because who knows who will make way for Mohammed Yunus's interim government as and when elections take place. No one knows. Will it be another extremist ideology-led government? Even in that situation, if communication lines remain open, if cultural ties, historic ties, language-related ties all remain robust, that will make for continued communication between the two governments. As far as mistreatment of minorities is concerned, India has been calling that out repeatedly and must continue to do so. There are caveats in place as well. These are Bangladeshi citizens. Of course, they must get exactly the same treatment that any other Bangladeshi citizen must get as per the Bangladeshi constitution. But they are Bangladeshi citizens, and India must call them out, but do so with exercising utmost restraint. What it can do is it can ensure that aid and financial support can continue for and must continue for Bangladesh. The economy has seen a major collapse. There are large sections of Bangladeshi society which do want to have good ties with India. And in those circumstances and those people, they get emboldened, they get strengthened when aid continues from India, when grant continues from India. Remember, this is exactly what India did even during the times of crisis that Sri Lanka faced. The economic turmoil did not stop India from extending that big brotherly hand which lifted Sri Lanka out of its economic misery. In Bangladesh, things are different because, of course, there are extremist ideologies at play. But as I said, if India continues to extend that hand of friendship, some of these voices, extremist voices, may be reduced and may in fact be weakened by some of the other voices in Bangladeshi society, because not all want to stay away from India. They realize the importance, the significance of having ties with India, with New Delhi, which continues to be the big brother. And last but most importantly, India needs to continue to exercise restraint. It's been doing so and needs to continue doing so going forward as well.